All right, class. I know before we are learning solubility, and then I post a bunch of worksheet and video for you to do. Well, um, I am going to talk more about those on our Zoom meeting. So make sure you attend our Zoom meeting, which is mandatory. You'll get a participation grade and also the extra credit for your test. And today we're talking about percent solutions. And after that, we're going to talk about the concentration, which is molarity, and then molarity. Molar, can pronounce that. All right. So, um, the notes I asked you to fill it out, it already talked about this concentration, concentrated and diluted. So it's just re-emphasize why do we use, how do we use concentrated and dilute. So imagine you can dissolve the same amount of sugar in the water, right? If you dissolve a tablespoon of sugar in like a tiny big cup of water, it will taste very sweet, right? Because our solute, we have relative compared to solvent, which is water, uh, we have relatively more solute dissolved in the solvent, right? So it tastes very concentrated, it tastes very sweet. However, if you dissolve the same amount of sugar, a tablespoon, but in a pitcher of water, then we have the same amount of solute, which is sugar, dissolved in a large amount of solvent, right? So it tastes very, very light, it's barely sweet, it's very diluted. And so concentration, concentrated or dilute, it's a very relative term. So those terms are very vague, and we need to be able to express concentration with number, just like 98, 99. Uh, if you put a 98 candy in a jar and 99 candy in another jar, you compare those two, uh, you can only say they both have a lot. However, you have to have the actual number to compare which is bigger, right? So that bring us to the percent solution. So one way to describe the concentration of a solution is by percentage. Okay, that makes sense. 20%, 30%, 30% is more than 20, right? So there are two ways to use percentage. One is the ratio of mass of the solute divided by the mass of solution. Another way is the ratio of the volume of the solute divided by the volume of the solution. Because if we talk about solution, we're talking about liquid. A liquid can be measured in liter, right? So it's a term for volume. Either we can talk about gram, kilogram, or liter, milliliter. The calculation is very straightforward. When we calculate the mass percent, when the solute in a solution is a solid. So when, just like sugar, it's hard to measure sugar in volume, right? Because sugar is solid. So it's easier to measure sugar in mass, which is in gram. So the convenient way to do it is by finding the mass percent, which is mass of the solute divided by mass of the solution. So make sure you write this equation down. This equation is the equation you need to use. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at our example. Okay. Suppose that a solution was prepared by dissolving 25 grams of sugar, so 25 grams is a solute. Okay. And then into 100 grams of water, and 100 grams is the solvent. the percent of mass will be calculated by, since our percent of mass is mass of solute over mass of solution. So our solute is sugar, right? Sugar, which is 25 grams. Oh, can't write this one. I don't know why. Okay, it's 25 grams. However, solution, 100 grams of water. Water is the thing, water is the solvent, which the solute dissolve into. But solution is the mixture of solute and solvent. So solution is the mixture of sugar plus water. That's why it's 25 grams plus 100 grams is 125 grams. Okay, you divide and times 100%, you get your percentage. Okay, however, sometimes the question will give you a solution and ask you to find the mass of solute. Same thing. Okay, what you have to do, don't worry about what we have here. What you have to do is still write your equation. So our equation, original equation, right, is percent is mass of solute, which is, we don't know. Hold on. You need to make, okay, mass of solute, we don't know. Okay, and then the solution, the mass of solution is 300 grams, or 3,000 grams. 3,000 grams. Okay, and then our percentage is 5%. So you still use your equation. However, don't rewrite it like the example right here. Just plug in your number. Okay, just plug in your number. Then you can cross multiply. So x equal 3,000 times 5%. Okay, then you find your answer. Oh, man. Okay, let's move on. If you want to watch how to calculate the percent solution, you can watch this video one more time. And then it's the volume percent. Because sometimes when you dissolve something, right, into water or into some other solvent, it can be liquid already. So, for example, just like sugar water, if you want to dissolve some syrup, okay, syrup is liquid, right? Some syrup into some water and make it diluted, it's hard to put the whole syrup into the scale and measure its mass, but it's easy to tell by its volume. So another way is to find the percent of solute by determining the volume ratio. Okay? It's the same way as doing the mass. You find the volume of solute, you find the volume of solution, which is the combination of solute and the solvent. Okay? And then you divide times 100%. So a lot of time you see the ingredient, it will say 3%, 2% percentage. For example, here the hydrogen peroxide is at 3%, is the volume ratio. Okay? So what I want you to do is to write down the highlighted part of this lecture into a notebook as your notes, and then answer these three review questions. Why are the terms concentrated and dilute not very helpful? When would you use volume percent calculation, and why do you subtract the mass of the solute from the total mass desired when making mass percent calculation? Okay, so I want you to answer these three questions in your notebook as well. So as you see, please check your email and the Google Classroom announcement. First of all, before I said my office hours Tuesday and Wednesday, we changed it. So every week we're going to meet online. For chemistry class is Thursday or Friday from 12:30 p.m. in the afternoon after lunch or after you wake up to 2 o'clock. So I will be online for an hour and a half to answer questions, online tutoring, go over the homework and all that. Okay, this is a mandatory meeting. You will receive participation point from attending either one of those. That means if you have my class on Thursday, then attend the one on Thursday at 12:30. If you have my class on Friday, then attend the one on Friday by 12:30. Okay? So that means the other day you don't have anything to do. Not only you will receive the participation point, but also you'll get extra credit for attending those meetings and count towards a quiz at the end of the semester. Okay? So if you attend all those meetings, you will receive 100, a free 100 for a quiz. So make sure you make an effort to attend. If you're supposed to go online on Thursday, but you missed it, you can go online Friday. You must attend once per week. And I will post the homework once a week at the beginning of the week, and all the homework together is due on Friday. Okay. You only have one quiz per week. The quiz, I will announce ahead of time and let you know what's going to be on the quiz and what day you will take the quiz. We're not going to take the quiz during class period anymore. I postpone the quiz. Every time you need to take a quiz, it always starts at 1 o'clock p.m. Either Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. We're not going to do the quiz on Thursday and Friday because that's our meeting time. So it will be less work for you to do, and you also can manage your time accordingly and make sure you turn your work on time. And please send me a private comment on the file says personal contact to receive extra credit. So I can have your number and I can, text you or contact you other than email because I know some people do not check the email. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. I will see you on Thursday.